Sex and the City is a show I've seen countless times. It was inspired by the writings of Candace Bushnell and Helen Gurley-Brown's Sex and the Single Girl. On the surface, the show perfectly encapsulates liberal feminism, sexually liberated, financially independent women living in New York City, prioritizing careers, pleasure, and personal freedom. And yet, for a show supposedly about independence, the women spend an extraordinary amount of time obsessing over men. Dating, relationships, commitment, and male validation dominate the storylines. By the end of the series, all four women end up in committed monogamous relationships. That makes it difficult to say whether or not the show is feminist. Even Candace Bushnell herself has said that she didn't consider Sex and the City to be a particularly feminist show, largely because the women center their lives around men. Carrie Bradshaw, the main character, spends the bulk of the series emotionally tethered to Mr. Big. For a show that claims to celebrate independence, that's a strange contradiction. So is Sex and the City feminist, or does it expose the problems of feminism? I actually think that Sex and the City captures the failure of feminism rather well. Feminism pushed women away from traditional relationships and towards independence. The show constantly highlights how conflicted women feel about that shift. Across countless episodes, the women wrestle with marriage, motherhood, sexual freedom, and commitment. They claim to want independence, yet deeply desire love, stability, and long-term partnership. In the end, all four end up in monogamous committed relationships. Samantha Jones, my favorite of the four, claims to be fine with cheating in the episode The Cheating Curve. But in season 4, when she dates Richard and he cheats on her, she's devastated. Miranda, the hyper-successful lawyer who prides herself on emotional detachment, is shaken when she learns that one of her ovaries has stopped producing eggs. She is suddenly confronted with the possibility of never having children. Then there's Charlotte. She's the least feminist of the four, and, in my opinion, the best. She's kind, traditionally feminine, and unapologetic about wanting marriage and children. She openly pushes back against the others' cynicism about happily ever after. Charlotte is deeply uncomfortable with feminist views on how women should behave, and she's the only one who seems honest about what she wants. She acts as the show's foil. The word feminism is not explicitly in the show, but it does hover in the background. In one conversation between Charlotte and Miranda, the women's movement is subtly discussed. Charlotte wants to be a housewife and is judged for quitting her job. I'm not against women pursuing careers at all, but feminism taught women to prioritize career over family as a default. That works for some women, but not for most. Most women want stable relationships, marriage, and children, and that's exactly what all four characters struggle with throughout this series. One thing Sex and the City does surprisingly well is portray bad female behavior. Feminism often paints women as the victims, yet never holds women accountable for nasty behavior. It always blames everything on men or the patriarchy. Samantha routinely sleeps with married men, directly contributing to other women's marital breakdowns. Miranda is frequently cold, snappy, and dismissive towards Steve, and treats Skipper poorly. Charlotte can be rigid and uptight. Miranda and Carrie both go through men's apartments after sleeping with them in separate episodes, which, if we're being honest, is invasive and creepy. And then there's Carrie's most infamous storyline, cheating on Aiden with her married ex, Mr. Big. This is genuinely awful. She helps destroy someone else's marriage, not to mention betrays a wonderful man. Natasha, Big's wife, is clearly the victim, and Charlotte is the only one who points this out to Carrie during the affair. The show often frames Carrie as confused, rather than morally wrong. Big is positioned as the villain, yet Carrie behaves just as badly. She is immature, neurotic, and selfish. One of the most irritating episodes is Ring-a-Ding-Ding. Carrie is about to lose her apartment. Her friends offer her the money. Big gives her the money. Instead of behaving like an adult and taking the money that Big offers her, she rips up the check and then confronts Charlotte, who is in the middle of a painful divorce, for not offering to help her out financially. It's terrible writing, and Carrie is completely out of line, yet the show constantly gives her a free pass. There are plenty of other unpleasant women in the series too. Some, the manipulative servant who bullies Samantha, Bunny, Charlotte's controlling mother-in-law, Adina, who is openly racist towards Samantha for dating her brother, and various younger women who are portrayed as cliquey, rude, and entitled. This is not a show about innocent female victims. Women in Sex and the City are flawed, competitive, and often unkind to other women. That is very realistic. Contrary to what feminists think, men are not always the villains. Women are just as bad. Overall, I think Sex and the City does a great job at highlighting female competitiveness and nastiness, but also female friendship. The four women remain solid friends through various hardships, and that's quite nice. Many women don't have friendships like that, and it's genuinely refreshing to see on screen. Sex and the City does sell harmful messages about sexual promiscuity being empowering, especially to young women, but it also, unintentionally, exposes the emotional cost of frequent casual sex. I can't help but wonder what the show would look like if it were explicitly framed as a critique of feminism rather than a celebration of it. I think it would be far more honest and far more interesting. If you want a space that supports women thriving without hating men, check out the subreddit Women's Advocates. Link is in the description below. Do you think Sex and the City is feminist? Do you love it or hate it? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more content.